not ready.
Good morning, aviators. Welcome back to the channel. This is the second mission in the Gunthrek Academy F-18 flight campaign. First mission, we're just going over cold start and shutdown. This is we're actually relocating to Vaziani. So basic navigation principles will probably start to be applied. I'm looking forward to it. We'll jump right in. Not too much here in the brief other than TAC needs to be 22 X-ray.
Good evening. It's time to head over to Vaziani. Go ahead and complete the cold start procedure we learned this morning. The cold start checklist is included in your kneeboard documentation, along with the mission card for this flight, which can be accessed with the assigned key binds. All flights from this point forward will include kneeboard documents with any relevant information you need, so you can always refer to either the mission briefing or your kneeboard as references. Until we complete the navigation check ride, though, I'll include visual cues for the process so you can get used to the order of things.
Oh, this is cool. I've never seen someone include one like that. That's pretty neat. Cool. All right. I might do the process different than... Nah, I'm going to start up traditionally how I do. All right.
Engine fire left. Engine fire left. Engine fire right. Engine fire right. APU fire. APU fire. Bleed air left. Bleed air left. Bleed air right. Bleed air right.
All right. That should be good. Lock seat. Ejection handle. All right, starting up the APU. Let me adjust my IR here. There we go. Good. All right. Cranking on the right. Oil pressure. Waiting for 25%. Light off. Roll back.
Roll left. Roll left. Flight controls. Flight controls.
That's good. All right. Oh, logs. Rudder trim. FCS reset. Lights. Field. Half flaps. We'll run the FCS test now. Time UFC. We'll go to ground alignment. Stored heading. Reset the bleed air. And radar to standby. Alright, FCS test is good. Start the left engine. Oil pressure. Light off. Roll back. Alright. Now I'll shut the canopy. That's gonna make me do this anyway, which is kind of BS in my opinion. I've already got stored heading. I'm not going to change that. I wish there's a way we could skip it. Okay, we can do some other stuff. IFF, I don't think we'll need it, but we'll turn on. TACAN 22 X-ray on. Data link. Sure, why not? Beacon on. ECM. RWR. Standby. Attitude indicator. Radar altimeter. We'll go to. Let's do 500 feet. Okay, alignment looks good. IFA. Yeah, it's making me do this anyway. Not sure.
Awesome. Now that we're all ready to go, let's get our navigation set up.
Okay.
Using your preferred MDI, press the menu push button until you're on the support page, then press the HSI push button. On the right side, press the waypoint push button to activate waypoint navigation. Press the up arrow button to set waypoint 1, then press the sequence 1 push button to activate the flight plan.
There we go.
On the bottom left of the UFC, press the COM1 channel selector knob, then type in a frequency of 11.
Hold on, I got it. Okay. Oh, COM1 channel. Okay.
3.000 and press enter so you can monitor the frequency. You won't need to make any radio calls, as I'll be taking care of that on another channel, but we need to get you into the habit of setting up your comms. Slowly add throttle to get the aircraft moving and make a left turn onto the taxiway by using rudder controls. If the aircraft isn't turning fast enough, you can either reduce speed or hold down the nose while steering keybind to increase your turn rate on the ground.
Okay, which runway are we using, boss? Alright, I guess they'll tell us. Canopy not locked? No, I guess it wasn't locked. Because the waypoint's in that direction, I'm going to say we're going to be taking off from runway 6. Oh.
Take your time while moving down the taxiway. Make small throttle adjustments to keep your aircraft moving, while also making left and right rudder adjustments to keep your aircraft centered on the taxiway centerline.
I just got done flying the F-15 and messed up the nose wheel steering commands. Actually, I'm going to do HSI down here, which it already is. Let's turn that off. Let's go ahead on this side. Alright, flaps are half. We got takeoff trim, field trim at least.
You're approaching the entrance to the active runway. Start slowing down using the brakes and follow the taxiway centerline as it curves toward the runway using the rudder controls. Bring the aircraft to a stop just before the runway threshold, marked by the horizontal white line.
It's actually not the threshold, but that would be, well, in the civilian world, this would be.
Come to a stop here. Double check that you've activated waypoint navigation on your HSI, that sequence 1 is activated, and that you've selected waypoint 1 as your active waypoint.
Waypoint 1 in sequence, yes.
The tower has already cleared us for takeoff, so look left and right down the runway to ensure that no aircraft are on the runway, as well as not on a final approach for landing. Then pull out onto the runway, turn to the right and try to place yourself right on the runway numbers, 07 in this case. We're ready for takeoff. Activate the brakes to hold the aircraft in position while advancing the throttle to full mill power. Once the
Mill power
aircraft's
right there.
engines overcome the brakes and it begins moving forward, release the brakes and do your best to use the rudder to keep the aircraft centered on the runway centerline. At 80 knots, disable the nose wheel steering by using the appropriate keybind to reduce oversteering as we increase our speed. Assuming the takeoff trim has been
And
set
you're up.
correctly,
Flaps
the
up.
aircraft will pitch up off the ground and begin climbing away from the runway. Once you confirm a positive rate of climb, raise the landing gear and flaps. Now that we're in the air, press the AP button on the UFC to display the autopilot menu, then press the CPL push button to activate the autopilot's course tracking function and verify that waypoint 2 is selected on the HSI.
Waypoint 2.
You can also have the aircraft automatically advance to the next waypoint once you reach it by pressing the auto button at the bottom right of the HSI. It
Not
won't
letting me.
box
That's
while
right.
the CPL function is on, so you'll have to switch that off for a moment to
Oh.
enable auto,
Okay.
or you can just manually advance waypoints with the up and down push buttons. Climb to an altitude of 10,000 feet, then activate the BALT push button to hold the aircraft at desired barometric altitude.
You got it, buddy.
Double check that your altimeter mode switch is set to baro.
Barrow.
Maintain an airspeed of 350 knots and continue flying toward waypoint 2 and await further instruction.
Alright, 350 knots.
Once you're at 350 knots, you can set the auto throttle on the aircraft using the appropriate keybind, T, to keep it there.
Let's see. Let me make sure that's what I have set up. I never use this thing, so. Okay, that's terrible. Auto. Here, I'm just gonna search it like this. That's ATC disengage switch, so let's see. Throttle. Well, it's alright. I'll just fly manually. I'll be a pilot today. Alright, coming up. I'm actually going to disengage the autopilot here so I can level off. Slightly overshot. But we're going to go a couple barometric altitude. And I'll just keep the speed manually. I think the narration and mission sequence is pretty good so far. I think there's a reason why this campaign is so really hyped, and if you want to play it, I'll put the first block of the campaign in the description so you can download and install it yourself. Oops, shit. That's not what I meant to do. I meant to change the scale. I can get closer on altitude. There we go. Keep it within 100 feet. How much fuel we got? We got 9,800 pounds. I'm gonna increase speed to 500 for now. Move this sequence along a little bit. Light's still on. Alright, set to auto. So it should automatically sequence by, but I don't like to fly over the waypoint. I like to fly by the waypoint because that's what you do in real life. So I'm actually going to turn that off, and I'll manually change it at about 2 miles per hour. There's 2 miles, waypoint 3. It's really weird. I thought the narrator would come back by now. Hopefully I didn't have to fly right over that waypoint. That would kind of suck. It's long cross country. We got plenty of fuel. Let's just go full burner here. I'm sure the residents won't care about a sonic boom. This time, just to be sure, I'll fly right over waypoint 3. Alright, we'll get to the waypoint in 6 minutes and 22 seconds. If that's the case, I'm just gonna pull it back to military power. I help speed things a little bit, but not much. So I was looking at this timer right here. That tells you when you'll be over the waypoint, or if you have a TACAN set, for TACAN. Oh no, I know what I can do. Let's just speed it up. So Control Z, speed up a couple times. There we go. Now it feels like we're flying supersonic. Alright, about 10 miles will resume normal speed. Back to normal speed. Let's go scale 20. I'll fly right over the top of the waypoint this time, just in case. And I will start slowing back down at 350 because we're kind of towards the final approach phase. Going into Balzani.
We're pretty close to Vaziani now, and the autopilot should be turning the aircraft to the right to line up with the runway. Once the aircraft levels out, turn off the autopilot, reduce speed to less than 250 knots, then lower the landing gear and flaps. This time, though, allow the aircraft to begin a slow descent toward the runway. Once the aircraft settles down, adjust speed to about 130 knots. The speed is slower this time because we're actually landing. Once this is done, make small throttle and pitch trim adjustments to bring the E-bracket down to the velocity vector, then keep both placed on the end of the runway. Use the stick to make left or right adjustments to align yourself with the runway, but be sure not to make any pitch changes with it. Remember, when the E-bracket and velocity vector are paired, pitch is controlled with the throttle only.
250 knots,
Resist the
landing gear down.
temptation to use the stick if the velocity vector slides up or down. Just add or remove throttle as required. Continue flying in this manner until the aircraft touches down on the runway.
Full flaps.
As you get closer, place the velocity vector right on the runway numbers and prepare for a jolt.
Alright, 200. Alright, autopilot off. Man, this is so slow. This is such a slow approach. Home fuel, yeah, copy. Alright, pitch up the bracket, or pitch up, put the flight path vector right in the middle of the E bracket. That's on speed. The donut, it's yellow. Just the circle. Yes, home fuel, got it. Alright, controlling pitch with thrust, and I'm slightly banking off to the right to line up with the runway. Let's see, what runway are we going into? Oops, gotta turn that off. Runway 13, let's just try something here. Let's go TACAN, course 130, enter. It's pretty darn close. Alright, reducing power, bring it back down. So I'll come right to line up with the course. Got my lights on. Landing gears down. Heck, let's just run the checklist. Landing gear down, flaps full, hook up, anti-skid, on, harness, tighten, dispenser, off. There we go. Simple landing checklist. I'm gonna turn these to night. It's a little too bright. Little high, correcting. Reducing power. Such a long approach here. I'm gonna time forward just a little bit here. Alright. Additionally coming right. That's a little bright. Let's go to night mode. Landing light. Yeah, let's turn it on. What the heck?
Altitude. Altitude.
Copy. Decreasing power here. It's not letting me turn that down. Okay. Coming in slowest F-18 approach ever. Still need to come a little bit to the right. I'm just going to turn off the tachyon. Here we go, that looks like a good approach path. Reducing power a little fast. There we go. I'm sorry, a little high. Trimming one more up. There we go. Now we're in the middle of the bracket. Right on the touchdown aim point. 1,000-foot markers. Pretty steep rate of descent, not gonna lie, but I'm gonna correct down a little bit. Alright, adding power to reduce rate of descent. There we go. That's a little better. And
touchdown. Use the brakes and speed brakes to slow the aircraft down until you can make a safe turn off the runway to one of the taxiway entrances to the left.
Flaps up. Pulling back on the stick for aerodynamic braking. Using the brakes, you can see the control indicator in the bottom left to see what I'm doing. .48 knots. There we go. Speed brake retract. Looks like I'll be going to the end here. Let's go back to takeoff trim. Alright, we can make a safe exit. It's bright, I wish there was just a taxi light setting.
Taxi over to parking spot 1. You can locate it by accessing the F10 map and referencing it to your current location. Once there, execute the shutdown procedure.
Parking spot 1?
The lesson will be complete once the aircraft is parked in spot 1 and completely shut down.
Oh man, that's a... It's a long way down there. I'm gonna do a southwest taxi here. I'm gonna see where's the ground speed at. I know there's something where we could find out our taxi speed or ground speed. Probably not. Yeah, I think we're going too slow. But 30 knots on the straightaway. If you're American, 10 knots. I should clarify I'm referencing the Southwest Airlines and American Airlines. Southwest notoriously fast taxiers, American notoriously slow taxiers. I'm going so fast it gave me a check flaps warning. Yeah, ground speed. Oh, well. Either way. Okay, coming up spot 10. Or correction 1. All the way down here at the end. It's not going to the grass. Okay. Coming on the brakes. Alright, gonna pivot here. Oh, we can... Okay. Oh, it's having us do the whole shutdown flow. This is usually what I do. Yeah, I'll just do what it says. Yeah, that's not right. Let's actually shut down the engines first. That's kind of rushed. There's a lot of stuff that was
Good job.
left off, but
Let's
or
go
left on,
grab a
but
beer at the O Club. Then you should really get some rest. Training starts first thing in the morning.
that wasn't even training. Alrighty. Well, I thought that's a good little mission to get people used to taking off and landing and using the basic navigation tools. So, well, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe if you want to see additional videos. If you want to play this mission yourself, I'll leave a link to the description down below. And as always, thanks for watching.